Alright, Screaming Demon RC, SDRC, in the shop tonight. We've got Gord Elliott's Team Associate Truggy here. Last video we did, we were going pretty big. Gord was doing backflips and all sorts of big stuff with this Truggy. And he ended up, what did he do first? He sheared off this 3mm screw here in his chassis brace. It goes basically, where does it go? Goes right about like that there. Sorry. Right about like that there. So he sheared that off. That was the front one. And so I just took it out. But she's pretty bent. Here, let's have a look at a straight edge here. Over top of it. Look at that. She's pretty good and bent. Here's a ruler. Stick her up against there. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, good one, Gord. Good one. Yeah, you tweaked her good. Anyway, I'll straighten that out for him. And remove that screw. And then after he basically broke the screw out, he kept driving. You know, Gord, he goes hard, keeps driving. And then he hit a tree and ripped the screws right out of the bottom of the bulkhead here into the chassis. Couple of M4 screws here. He ripped them right out. Looks like they're pretty chewed up. I'll see if I can reuse them, but if not, I got just a big order of hardware in the last week there, so I got lots of that in stock now for these builds that we do in the shop. Anyway, I just want to do a quick little intro on this. This is what I'm doing tonight, so I'll hopefully get a bit more done, and I'll show you what it's like here in the end. Alright, we're back. I was able to take the bend out of this brace of Gord's. It took the most of the bend. There's still a little slight bit to it, but I'm sure Gord will bend it again, so no worries. But I couldn't remove the broken off screw. As you can see, it's broken off really. It's flush right in there, so I'm gonna have to take that to my bigger shop that we got here and get some better tools on that, because I just don't have the stuff here in this little shop right here. But anyway, I'll do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And I'll get on to something else on this rig. Probably replacing the screws that are holding this thing. Well, that should be holding this thing all back together. So we'll get on with that. Alright, we're on to the next part of this, this maintenance, I guess. Somewhat of a rebuild here for Gord's Truggy. So the chassis, I got the rear end all off. There you can see, sitting there on the bench. And now I was looking at the frame, well, the chassis plate here, and I noticed that it seemed a little bit bent, and I thought, well, look at this, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a, see a little light under there. It's a little truer that way. But then you get out here, and whoa, look at the light under there. I think we got a bit of a bend in there. There, Gord, you went a little bit too hard that last bash session. Tweaked your back end there, bud. So I'll be taking that to the big shop, getting out the big hammers and the big blocks, and we'll be straightening that baby right in here. She's got a good tweak to her. It was still holding on by these last two screws. One screw was halfway out, the other screw was loose. These two were ripped right out of the truck, and that's probably why this chassis brace got such a severe bend in it. When it hit right there, you can see the marks in the aluminum. The chassis brace hit the CV joint right here, and that's what made those marks in the aluminum, and that's what gave it the big bend in it. So I'm going to take it out to the shop and straighten that out, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, I straightened Gord's chassis out, and I noticed while I was doing that, it went fairly well. It seems to be pretty good and straight. The only problem is, I don't know if it'll pick it up on my camera here, but right there I got it circled right from the corner. I wish it would pick it up my camera, but you could just see it right there. There's a crack. I don't know if my camera will pick it up if I get better. Probably not. Anyway, there's a crack there, Gord, so you're gonna have to fix that, or get it welded, or I don't know, man, drill a small hole. We'll figure it out though. Anyway, you don't want your whole back end of your truck to rip off, so we'll have to deal with that. I'll stick your truck back together so we can still drive it this next weekend coming up if we're gonna bash. But other than that, you're gonna have to definitely keep that in mind there. Keep these screws all tight. This whole back end should be tight, or you're gonna end up ripping her off, buddy. Okay, I got Gord's Truggy all back together. Well, mostly all back together. I got the rear end all put back together. I'm just letting some glue dry that I put on these screws because the bulkhead was so ripped up. The screws were ripped out, so they basically had to be glued back in. Gord has another bulkhead, he said, but just repair it as is. We'll get a couple more bash sessions out of it, and then we're good to go. There's still that crack here he's going to have to address and figure out how to deal with that. Either I would get it welded or drill maybe a small hole there and, I don't know, even fill the hole with a screw just to keep that crack from going any further. Other than that, the truck is ready to go. Besides, I have to still extract this broken screw, which I'll do that in the morning in our big shop with some better tools. I got some drill bits that are a reverse drill bit. So it drills it backwards, obviously reverse, and when it bites into the metal, it starts to unscrew the screw and wind it back out of there. So that's how I plan on getting it out. You got to have the right tools for the job sometimes. Anyway, we're going to wrap this video up, and I think that's about all we're doing tonight. I also have Gord's X-Max here, well, one of his X-Maxes. I'm doing some work on it. We had a kind of a mystery noise in there, a nasty clacking noise, and he had just done the rear diff and also the front diff, so we weren't quite sure what it was, so I'm just pretty much going to rip into it and tear it all apart and see what the problem is. And hopefully it's something that's not too costly. We've had a few people say that it's probably the center diff in here, or possibly the main drive shaft that runs down the center of the whole truck. So I'll be looking at both those, and I'll let you guys know what I find out there on a future video. Anyway, Screaming Demons, RC, SDRC, out.